95% of the world's internet does not travel through the air. It does not bounce off satellites. It does not move through cell towers or Wi-Fi routers. It travels along the ocean floor. A network of fiber-optic cables, each no thicker than a garden hose, stretches across the seabed of every ocean on Earth. These cables carry everything: financial transactions, military communications, government secrets, social media posts, video calls, the entire architecture of the global digital economy. They are the most critical infrastructure on the planet, and they are completely unprotected. In 2025, the People's Liberation Army Navy unveiled a new deep-sea vehicle. It was not a submarine. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense. It was a cable cutter, a remotely operated vehicle capable of operating at 4,000 meters depth, equipped with manipulator arms and cutting tools specifically designed to sever fiber-optic cables on the seafloor. The announcement was brief. The implications were not. Because the geography of undersea cables is also the geography of geopolitical power, and the cables that connect the United States to Asia, Europe to Asia, and the United States to Europe all pass through choke points, narrow underwater channels where the cables converge, where a single cut could disrupt global communications for weeks, months, or longer. One of those choke points is the Luzon Strait between Taiwan and the Philippines, 200 kilometers from the Mariana Trench. What if China cuts the internet? Before you understand the cut, you need to understand the map. The global undersea cable network is not random. It follows the contours of the ocean floor, avoiding deep trenches where possible, following continental shelves where they exist, converging at specific points where geography forces the cables together. These convergence points are called cable landing stations. On land, they are heavily guarded facilities. But the cables themselves, for thousands of kilometers between landing stations, lie exposed on the sea floor. No fences, no guards, no monitoring beyond the occasional maintenance ship passing overhead once every few years. The cables are designed to withstand natural hazards, earthquakes, landslides, fishing trawlers. They are armored. They are buried in sediment where possible. They have redundancy, multiple cables along similar routes so that if one fails, traffic reroutes. But they are not designed to withstand a coordinated, deliberate attack by a state actor with deep-sea capabilities. And here is what the map shows. The Asia-America Gateway Cable System, connecting the United States to Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, the Philippines, Singapore, and Malaysia, passes through the Luzon Strait at a depth of approximately 3,800 meters. The Southeast Asia, Middle East, Western Europe 3 cable system, connecting Singapore to France, with branches to dozens of countries, passes through the same strait. The Trans-Pacific Express cable system, connecting the United States to China and Taiwan, also passes through the Luzon Strait. 3 of the most important internet cables in the world, all converging in one underwater channel. 200 kilometers from where Chinese deep-sea mining operations are already underway. The map is not a conspiracy theory. The map is physics. And physics does not care about geopolitics. Your name is Captain Elena Vasquez. You command the CS Cable Innovator, a specialized cable repair vessel operated by Subcom, one of the 3 companies in the world that maintains the global undersea cable network. Your ship is equipped with a remotely operated vehicle, capable of operating at 6,000 meters depth. Your crew includes cable engineers, ROV pilots, and oceanographers. Your mission? Routine maintenance on the Asia-America Gateway Cable, 150 kilometers northeast of Luzon. The cable has been showing intermittent signal degradation for 3 weeks. The diagnostics suggest a minor fault, perhaps a section of armor damaged by a rock fall, perhaps a manufacturing defect that has finally manifested after 10 years on the sea floor. Not unusual. Cables fail. You fix them. Day 4 of the operation. Your ROV is on the seafloor at 3,850 meters, following the cable route, inspecting every meter with high-definition cameras and sonar. The ROV pilot's voice comes over the intercom. He says, "I've found the fault." You ask him to describe it. He says, "It's not natural. The cable has been cut. Clean, deliberate. The armor is severed. The fiber bundles are exposed. The cut is recent. The exposed ends show no marine growth, no sediment accumulation." You ask him how he knows it's deliberate. He takes a moment. Then he says, "Because there are tool marks on the armor. Parallel grooves, consistent with a mechanical cutter, not a rock shear. And because the cut is at a 45-degree angle, the optimal angle for severing fiber-optic bundles with minimal effort." You look at the navigation display. You are 180 kilometers from the nearest Chinese deep-sea mining operation. You are 220 kilometers from the Mariana Trench. You ask him if there are any other signs. He says, "Hold on, I'm panning the camera." 30 seconds pass. Then he says, "There's something else." On the sea floor, 10 meters from the cut, a small depression in the sediment, like something landed there recently. And next to it, a single, fresh tire track from an ROV. You sit with that information, a cut cable, tool marks, a landing depression, a tire track. This is not a natural fault. This is a message. Let me tell you what happens when an undersea cable is cut. The internet does not stop. Not immediately. Not completely. The traffic reroutes. The packets find another path. The redundancy built into the global network activates. But redundancy has limits. When the Asia-America Gateway Cable is cut, traffic between the United States and Asia shifts to the other trans-Pacific cables. Those cables, already operating near capacity, become congested. Latency increases. Packet loss occurs. Financial trading algorithms, which depend on millisecond-level latency between New York and Tokyo, begin to fail. Trades are delayed. Markets become volatile. Military communications, which often use dedicated bandwidth on commercial cables, experience degradation. Real-time intelligence sharing slows. Command and control systems lag. Consumer internet, video streaming, social media, cloud services slows to a crawl in affected regions. This is the first hour. If the cut is not repaired within 24 hours, the congestion spreads. The backup cables, overloaded, begin to experience their own failures. The network starts to unravel from the edges inward. If multiple cables are cut simultaneously, at multiple choke points, the unraveling accelerates. The global internet is a resilient system, but resilience is not immunity. And the system was designed to withstand accidents, not coordinated attacks. The repair process takes time. First, locate the fault. Your ROV has done that. Second, retrieve the cable ends. This requires bringing both severed ends to the surface, splicing in new fiber, testing the connection, and reburying the cable. Minimum time, 3 days under ideal conditions. With weather, equipment issues, or complications, a week. A week without the Asia-America Gateway cable. A week of congested global internet. A week in which someone has demonstrated that they can cut the most critical infrastructure on the planet, 3,850 meters below the surface, with precision and without detection. The cut is not the weapon. The demonstration is. You need to understand why the Luzon Strait matters beyond the cables. The Luzon Strait is the primary passage for Chinese naval vessels moving from the South China Sea to the open Pacific. It is the route Chinese submarines take to reach deep water patrol areas. It is the channel through which the People's Liberation Army Navy would project power in any conflict over Taiwan. Control the Luzon Strait, and you control access to the Western Pacific. Control the undersea cables that pass through the Luzon Strait, and you control something more subtle. You control the information environment in which any conflict would occur. Cut the cables in the opening minutes of a conflict, and you blind your adversary. You degrade their command and control. You isolate Taiwan from the United States and Japan. You create chaos in global financial markets, distracting the international community. You change the calculus of intervention. This is not speculation. This is documented in Chinese military writings on information dominance and system destruction warfare. The concept is straightforward. In modern conflict, destroying the enemy's ability to communicate is as important as destroying their ability to fight. And the undersea cables are the ultimate communication vulnerability. They are fixed, they are mapped, they are fragile, they are irreplaceable in any relevant time frame. Your ROV is still on the seafloor, inspecting the cut. The camera is showing the tool marks in detail. The grooves are clean, machined, consistent with a cutter blade mounted on a manipulator arm. The ROV pilot says, "I'm going to collect a sediment sample from the landing depression. Maybe we can get tool residue. Maybe we can identify the vehicle." You tell him to proceed. While he works, you pull up the public AIS data for the area over the past month. You look for Chinese research vessels, survey ships, or naval auxiliaries that could have deployed an ROV capable of this depth. There are 3. 1. The Haiyang DG-10, a Chinese geological survey vessel, was in the area 2 weeks ago, officially conducting seabed mineral surveys. 2. The Shangyang Hong 09, a Chinese oceanographic research vessel, was in the area 10 days ago, officially studying deep-sea currents. 3. The Tan Suo 2, a Chinese deep-sea engineering support vessel, was in the area 5 days ago, officially testing new ROV systems. All three vessels are capable of deploying an ROV to 4,000 meters. All three were in the right place at the right time. All three have plausible deniability. You look at the ROV feed. The sediment sample is being collected. A small cloud of gray silt billows as the sampler penetrates the depression. The pilot says, "Got it, bringing it up." You tell him to continue documenting the cut. Get every angle, every measurement. This is not just a repair job anymore. This is evidence.
Let me give you the numbers. Not the worst case,
The realistic case. The global undersea cable network consists of approximately 450 active cables, totaling 1.3 million kilometers in length. They carry $10 trillion in financial transactions daily. They support 95% of international data traffic. The average time to repair a cable fault, 7 to 10 days under normal conditions. The cost of a single day of internet disruption to the global economy, approximately $10 billion. The number of cables that pass through the Luzon Strait, 12. The number of those cables that are critical for US-Asia communications, 8. The depth at which they pass through the strait, 3,500 to 4,200 meters. The depth capability of China's new cable-cutting ROV, 4,000 meters. The math is not complicated, but here is what the models add, quietly, at the bottom of the calculation. A cable cut in the Luzon Strait would not be an isolated event. It would be a test, a demonstration of capability. A message to every nation that depends on the undersea cable network. This can be done. This has been done. This will be done again if necessary. The repair ship you are on is one of only 60 specialized cable repair vessels in the world. Most are owned by the three cable maintenance companies, Subcom, ASN, and NEC. They are spread thin across the globe. They cannot be everywhere at once. If multiple cables are cut simultaneously in multiple choke points, Luzon Strait, Suez Canal, English Channel, Strait of Malacca, the repair capacity is overwhelmed. The internet begins to fragment. Regions become isolated. This is not a cyber attack. This is not hacking. This is physical infrastructure warfare at a scale and depth that has never been seen before. And the vehicle that did this is still out there. Somewhere in the dark water, 4,000 meters below the surface, moving silently, waiting for its next instruction. You complete the documentation. You retrieve the sediment sample. You begin the repair process. It will take 4 days. The weather is holding. The crew is working around the clock. On the second day, you receive a secure message from your company's headquarters. The message is brief. The incident has been reported to the International Cable Protection Committee and the relevant national authorities. An investigation is underway. You are to complete the repair and return to port. No further comment to anyone. You understand what that means. This will not be public. This will not be in the news. The cable will be repaired. The internet will return to normal. The financial markets will stabilize. The public will never know what happened 3,850 meters below the Luzon Strait. But the people who need to know, know. And the vehicle that made the cut is still out there. On the fourth day, the repair is complete. The cable is tested. The signal is restored. The ROV is recovered. The CS Cable Innovator begins its journey back to port. You stand on the bridge, looking at the Pacific Ocean. The water is blue. The sky is clear. The surface shows nothing of what happened below it. But you have seen the cut. You have seen the tool marks. You have the sediment sample with whatever residue it contains. And you know something that most people on Earth do not. The most critical infrastructure on the planet is vulnerable in a way that was theoretical until 2 weeks ago. Now it is not theoretical. Now it is a cut cable on the seafloor, repaired but not forgotten. Now it is a vehicle that can do it again, anywhere, anytime. The internet feels like a cloud. It feels like air. It feels like something that exists everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. But it is not. It is a garden hose on the ocean floor. And someone has just demonstrated that they know how to cut it. What if China cuts the internet? The capability exists. The geography enables it. The cables are vulnerable. The only question is, when? What should HADAL explore next? Should we descend into China's underwater space station in the South China Sea? 6 people, sealed at 1,800 meters, living above 70 billion tons of methane hydrate. Or should we witness the battle for the Arctic seafloor, where melting ice is revealing mineral deposits that could redraw the global resource map? Vote in the comments below and subscribe to HADAL before the next cut happens.